So what's up, guys? My name is Brett. I run FBAExcel.io, and we specialize in Google Sheets-based tools for Amazon sellers. If you do run an Amazon brand and you need help with things like PPC, keyword research, listing optimization, counting, performance metric tracking, things like that, those are really our core functions that we specialize in. We've got some pretty advanced tools that can help you manage those affordably. So in this training video, we're going to be talking about the AdTactix tool, which is our bulk advertising platform. It covers sponsored products, brands, display, search term harvesting, keyword planning and ranking, bid optimization, just a lot of really powerful features. When you first open the AdTactix tool, you will be greeted with a prompt screen that has a lot of kind of quick start guides and just step-by-step instructions that you can really use to get up to speed. In the in-app SOPs, you've got a video accompanied by a step-by-step procedure with screenshots, so you can really quickly just buzz down through there and simulate it along in your account. There's many different ways you can use AdTactix. You can structure and set up your account in a lot of different ways. I'm just going to show you one way here that a lot of users use. This is the way I personally use it as well. And we're going to use the optimize menu here and just click on enable targets. All right, and what this does for us really fast is it filters out anything that's paused either in a campaign ad group or at the keyword level, and it sorts it by orders. We could just as easily sort it by revenue or cost per acquisition, or whatever metric you want. You can do by ACoS. By orders, though, I like to figure out what are the top 20% of my targets that are giving me most of my results. Let's pretend that these targets here make up about 80% of our orders. So what we can do is we can copy this special column that got added when we synced all our data, and we're going to paste that over on the bid override table. The bid override table is really your one-stop shop for optimizing all your bids in AdTactix. What you can do is set different override levels. You can see in this column here, you can use target level overrides, campaign, portfolio, or ASINs. So you've really got all of those slices in order to kind of customize and structure your bid strategy, and depending on which layers you put on the bid override table, certain ones will take precedence, like a target level override will take precedence over a campaign, and then a campaign over a portfolio or ASIN. And with portfolios, you can really group different products together and just pretty much structure things in unlimited different ways. But for this example, we're going to do target level overrides. I'm going to just drag this down to all of these targets that I've just specified. And what you can see is, let me actually sync this really quick. So this little button here syncs all our data. All right, so now that our data is synced, you can see all of these metrics that just came in are for these specific targets at the sponsored products. That's what this SP stands for over here on the left. The yellow here indicates that we haven't assigned bid input settings yet. So I'm just going to take these kind of default settings. And now what we've done is we've picked off our top 20% of our sponsored product targets that are giving us most of our orders, put them on this bid override table. Now we can really keep a close eye on them week to week, and we can kind of tweak things and just steer them in the right direction. We've assigned bid input settings for a bid optimization formula. There's currently 4 optimization formulas in here. You can see 3 of them are displayed in this UI right here. There's another one that you can kind of toggle on and off, but you can also download the formulas and really understand the logic behind them. But in a nutshell, you've got some bid input setting criteria like target ACoS, your high ACoS threshold, mid ACoS threshold. There's some clicks and impression threshold limits depending on kind of new targets and how they're performing. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail there. Just know that there's a lot of kind of advanced formulas behind the scenes that are working. There's also this bid preview button. So after you assign your bid input settings, if you have target level overrides assigned, you can click this button and it's going to give you the actual updated bid of what it's going to get changed to if you deploy it. All right, so that's what is shown here in blue. The ones with ranges means you've got placement modifier set, so that's over here in orange. You can pretty much do everything you need to from like a modification and optimization standpoint from this centralized screen. When you're ready to optimize your bids, it's going to be as simple as coming up here, clicking optimize bids, and then you can actually optimize all ad types at once. Or if you just want to do one at a time, you can do that. And you can see here's our kind of 4 optimization formulas. So if you wanted to test one, didn't like that one, you wanted to test another one, you could test that one, so on and so forth. So before I actually optimize my bids, though, I'm going to go back and just grab my brands and display. I'm going to resync this. So I'll be back in a second. All right, so now I have the bid override table pretty well set up for our initial start, and I've added some brand and display targets down here at the bottom you can see. So we pretty much got everything all in one place now that we really want to focus on moving forward. And the name of the game then is just going to be to try to add more high converting targets to our kind of mix here. So from this really becomes, again, the central hub of optimizing all your PPC. And there's a lot of just hidden features that really help you make database decisions week to week. One of those that's really popular is the target sniper tool. So if I click that little plus button, it's going to expand a hidden section here. You can see along the top, it's giving me the days of the week. This test data started in October, but you can see there was a break here where we maybe weren't running PPC or went out of stock or something. And then anything in green is showing more orders than usual. But you've got, your cost per clicks, all your PPC performance metrics. You can even overlay Helium 10 organic sponsored rank, notes and events. There's a way in AdTactix to kind of keep track of that on the target level. So just really good insights and kind of tracking of daily performance. There's more details for really your campaign level details. So that gives you, your ASINs, match types, all of those kind of background info. You've got custom section here where you can really kind of customize things a lot further. Some of these will have rank and search volume. You can really, again, kind of tailor this to what you want. There's ways to bring in your tacos and top of search impression shares. Really just kind of customizable again. Placement metrics, so you can click this plus button here and see at the campaign level all your top of search and product page metrics. So that's really helpful in determining if you've got some targets that are just really doing well for top of search, for example. You can really hone in on that, adjust your bid modifiers here in orange, and then kind of bulk optimize all of those all in one run. That's pretty much an overview of the bid override table. Once you kind of have everything set up how you want it, it really becomes a quick kind of tweak process. With each optimization cycle you do, maybe you do 2 to 3 per week is what most users do, but essentially when you're ready to optimize your bids, you're just going to come up here and you can do some fine tuning if you want. You can optimize your campaign budgets. You can edit those here in green and then come up here, click these buttons here. It's going to update all your sponsor products bulk files with that. Same with the bid modifiers. But anyway, to optimize your bids, click that button, optimize bids. We'll just do our sponsored products in this example. I'll hit Apex Formula. You'll see it's going to hop over to our sponsored products tab sheet, which is down here at the bottom. All right, so there you go. And you can see this new bid red column here. There's one of those in all 3 of your sheets. So when we hit OK, you're going to see a new value populated here. And that's going to be based on our bid override table bid settings that we specified, as well as the target level performance metrics of each keyword. So you can see here these gray columns in our bulk sheet give us those at the target level. So the bid formulas really kind of pull everything in together and just recalculate our bids to be as optimized as possible. And then from there, it's just as easy as clicking this export to Google Drive. You can export all 3 sheets at once if you want, and that's going to save it into your Google Drive folder. And you can just upload that revised file back to Amazon. So it really becomes kind of a cyclical process of anytime you want to optimize your bids, you run through the steps that we just have gone through thus far, upload your new bulk file up to Amazon, and then your bids are going to be modified. All right, so you can see we've moved over from the bid override table. Now we're on the AdTactix dashboard, and really the point of the AdTactix dashboard is to aggregate all of your most important keywords in one place, and then have a way to really monitor and manage all of the both Amazon-centric data and SaaS tools like Helium 10 if you want to track your organic rank performance. If you want to bring in Amazon reports like brand analytics, search term impression share, search query performance, pretty much all of them that are important from a keyword rank perspective. Just to really show you how to harvest new keywords and get them into AdTactix, I'm going to run through a few quick examples here. One of the easiest ones is to use your search query performance weekly reports. So there's a SOP that shows you how to get all this data in there. I'm just going to hit this search query keyword button, and it's going to essentially bring in all of the data, the supplemental data that we've imported thus far from a search query performance report standpoint, dump it into this database. And then because we've got all of our ad data in here in our bulk sheets down here at the bottom with our products, brands, and display, one nice thing is it's just going to automatically update any kind of relevant supplemental data that it has in the background pertaining to these keywords. So we'll have that get updated here in just a second. All right, so you can see now it's added all of our search query performance keywords that were in our ASIN reports that we've imported thus far. You can keep doing this each week, and it's going to pull in any new ones that haven't already been added to this dashboard. It'll just pull in the new ones from there. But you can see if we scroll to the right, You can really customize this dashboard to your liking. So if you want to see it in a different order, there's I think over 50 different metrics you can choose from now. We can easily add more as well. Basically pick the column headers there that you want to display. Then you can just easily resync with this blue button and it's gonna kind of repopulate the metrics. But if we scroll over, you can see we've got search query performance info there. You've got search term report info here. I'll show you that in the next example here where we harvest search terms. This is really powerful. So you've got sponsored products, brands, and display section of the dashboard where it gives you performance from an advertising for each of these keywords. So you can see in green, that's kind of the total sponsored products info. Single keyword exact campaigns is a really popular strategy for ranking that we've seen really work well. So we've kind of built in some core features around that strategy, as well as just breaking out some of the metrics so you can see from just a single keyword exact standpoint how your different keywords are performing. The active checker, this tells you, because we have our advertising bulk files in here, which of these targets are currently in active single keyword exacts, regular exacts, broad phrase, ASIN targets. So it gives us kind of an active checker to know, are we targeting these yet or not? And if we're not, we can easily filter this database now, so we can just get a short list of the ones that we're not targeting. And the nice thing about this is you can really use it as a keyword planning tool. You've got different tag and notes fields over here that you can put in, like dates, for example, of when you want to launch campaigns. And then I'll show you here in a few minutes how you can use this inline bulk campaign builder with these checkboxes to just really quickly deploy infinite number of campaigns really efficiently. You've got that for the sponsored products. Similarly, you've got section here for sponsored brands. You can kind of scroll down here and see if there's any that are, so you can see here, yeah, there's a few here that are active in sponsored brands. So it just gives you kind of the performance. Then if we scroll all the way over to the right, you have sponsored display for your ASINs, and then also the combined totals for all three ad types. Likewise for the keywords, we can also put ASINs on here, and the next example I'm going to show you is how to dump in search terms. So that's kind of the second way to harvest new keywords. And you can see this is a souped up search term report if you're familiar with your Amazon search term report. So you've got a checkbox column here. There's some other helpful columns like if it's active or not, ASINs associated with each row, if it's a single or multi-ASIN campaign. If we go back to our AdTactix dashboard, there's actually a section here that we brushed by. And the idea of this is usually your search term criteria is pretty much going to stay consistent, and you're just going to want to try to find new search terms, on a maybe a bi-weekly or monthly basis that meet your criteria. And these are going to be primarily in your research campaigns that you're running, like your phrase, broad, autos. At any rate, we've got a criteria here of like 1 to 30% ACoS, 3 orders or more. We've checked off our sponsored products and brands. We could set a search term impression rank minimum too if we wanted. But we're just going to look in single ASIN campaigns that are currently active. So that's our criteria that we've got right now. We're going to go up to search terms and hit filter search term reports. And this is just going to use this criteria now and go over and automatically filter our search term reports for us. All right, and you can see we've got some that are negated as well. That's another column that we add, so you can always just kind of deselect that if you don't want to look at anything that you've already negated for whatever reason. Anything that's in a research campaign, so those are usually what you're going to want to look at. So that's going to be everything but exact. These are going to be ones that you're targeting a certain keyword, but the search term that the user or the customer's typing into Amazon is different, and you're converting on those. So we potentially want to add these to future campaigns. So in order to do that, you're just going to click the checkbox here, and we can come back up here and hit search terms, push to AdTactix. That's going to move these keywords directly over to our AdTactix dashboard, update all our metrics, and then depending on what our kind of keyword strategy and game plan is, over the following month or whatever, we can kind of deploy these keywords in the mix. All right, so now that I've added some keywords to my AdTactix dashboard, I want to deploy some new campaigns. What you can really easily do now is use these filters, as I mentioned before. Right now, I've got the single keyword exact filter selected where I'm showing anything that's blank, which means I just don't have any that are currently active or deployed. I've also filtered by my search query performance rank. So anything in this top 1, 2, or 3 spot, that's just Amazon centric data telling me that those keywords are performing really well for that ASIN. Then I've also got over here on the left just one ASIN selected. So I'm just going to build out campaigns for one ASIN at a time in this example. But the nice thing about this tool is I can check both of these rows now. And if I want to put them in their own unique single keyword exact campaign what I can do is just put a number 1 there and a number 2 there. I like to use numbers just to kind of tell me exactly how many total campaigns are going to get built out. If I wanted to add these to other match types as well, you can see I don't have them in a broad or phrase. So if you, for whatever reason, wanted to add those, you could just as easily check those like that. And if you wanted to put them in non-single, keyword phrase and broad, you want to keep them in their same campaign, I could just put a 1 there and a 1 there. And then this configuration is going to put my phrase and broad in a multi-keyword campaign. This one's going to be in the single keyword. So, all right. And then once you have the rows configured for your campaigns, you just come up and hit create PPC campaigns. And then this is going to drop you into the bulk campaign builder. All right. It's going to ask you if you want to create keyword campaigns or update existing. Right now, we're going to create single keyword campaigns. So I'm just going to hit the number 1. And you can see it's going to pre-populate all of our information off our AdTactix dashboard that we specified. So you can see there's our multi-keyword phrase and broad campaigns. And then we've got our single keyword campaign set up. Everything's already kind of pre-plugged in with the SKU. We've got a naming nomenclature that you can kind of specify here off the settings tab. So if I come back here, you can see in this section right here, I've specified a 1 being this SP code for sponsored products. And then we've got our ASIN, which is a dynamic variable. 3 is we could customize this with whatever we want. And then our ad group, we're just saying is a SKU there. One thing is that you can do for single keyword campaigns is deploy this single keyword campaign mode. Should have actually done that before I built out my columns, but that's all right. When you're ready to change the names though, you just come up into the bulk campaign creation menu, hit update custom names. All right, and you can see it added the actual keyword to the end of these. It doesn't really make sense to have it in the multi-keyword campaign, so I'd probably done that a little bit different if I was doing it for real. But you can see, for example, these are pretty representative of how you would want them. You can obviously add any placement, bid percentages, and top of search product pages, stuff like that. A lot of kind of fine-tuned tweaks you can do. You can add negations in this kind of inline format as well. And then when you're ready to actually create the campaigns, you're just going to come up here and hit create campaign upload file. In this case, this is a sponsored products file, so I'm going to SP. All right, and there you go. It's going to build out your file for you. And then similar to how we did the bid file, you're just going to export this to your Google Drive and upload that through campaign manager in the bulk operations screen. And then all of these new campaigns then will be created in your next bulk operations download that you do and import into the system. So again, it's kind of a cyclical process, but this is just the feature that adds the campaigns for you. All right, and then one other third kind of search term harvesting option that a lot of users use is the keyword dominator boosted list. So let me import one of those really quick. All right, so you can see this new list type is KDB. There's also a keyword dominator boosted rank section here. So it pulls in some metrics just related to your keyword dominator tool. So that's how those kind of work together. Everything else that we've covered thus far will be the same as far as pulling in any Amazon-centric data, your ad data for any of these. So just allows you to kind of work back and forth between Keyword Dominator and AdTactix to keep track of those keywords a little bit better and then to deploy them in a new campaign. So, all right, so one other cool feature of the AdTactix dashboard is the audit feature. So you can come up here and just click this audit button. What this is going to give you along the top here is a very detailed, broken out ASIN level audit. If you don't have anything selected here in the drop down, it's going to show you kind of your entire account. But if you do select an ASIN, you're going to just see the data related to that ASIN. And it's going to break it out in the case of the sponsored products by placement. So you can see at the ASIN level how all of your advertising metrics check out. So this can really be helpful for when you're deploying new campaigns to decide, do I want to deploy more phrase or broad or exact and figure out which is working well. Again, we break out single keyword exact from regular exact. You can get kind of an active target summary of how many of each one are active. You can get kind of a cost per acquisition type breakdown as well. So just really some helpful data while you're kind of going through in your head which keywords you want to deploy next. Likewise with the sponsored products, there's similar for sponsored brands and sponsored display, and then over all the way to the right you have kind of a combined total. So that's super helpful. All right, so we went over the bulk campaign builder. Similar to how we did the inline option, you can use this as just a standalone tool. So if you want to come up here, you can clear everything. You can come back up here, you can choose an update type. So sponsored products, say we want to build out some exact campaigns. You can specify how many. So say I want to do 5. and it's just going to create a new column for each campaign. And you can dictate your SKU from this field here. So let's say this golf rangefinder, I want to add some campaigns there. And then you can specify your keywords here. So I'm just going to kind of make a dummy example. You just kind of drag everything over to the right. So it's pretty simple and straightforward. Similarly with our naming scheme, we've got that kind of predefined. We can come up here now, update that. From there, all of our information is populated. We can make any tweaks we want to make, and then just create our campaign upload file and upload it to Amazon. Likewise, with the new campaigns, we can update existing campaigns. I'm not going to go through an example there, but there's SOPs. You can just click on these question marks and it'll walk you through that. All right, so that is the bulk campaign builder. The last tool that we haven't covered is the wasted ad spend reduction features of AdTactix. So you've really got a few different things. You've got the bulk sheet actions, which you've got a dupe checker that keeps you from cannibalizing on yourself. So I'll show you a brief example there. All right, so for this one, I've just hit the dupe checker and ran it on my sponsored products file. And you can see it returned 4 rows, which means I have 2 duplicates. You can see in this example, this is dummy data, but I have 2 product ASIN targeting campaigns where the ASIN's shown up twice. And the way you would potentially pause one of the rows is you could look at, say, the orders and say, okay, this one's not doing as well as this one, so I want to pause it. You can pause it just by changing this cell here from enabled to paused. And then when you upload that file to Campaign Manager the next time, those targets won't be running and you're just running it, one time from then on. That's how that one works. The poor performers filter is a bit more advanced. So what that is going to do is allow you to specify some poor performer criteria here on our settings tab. You can see here we've got criteria for click-through rate, spend, and clicks. So you can just kind of predefine that. And what this will do is bounce all of the keyword level performance metrics off of that criteria. And you can click actually all sheets and it's going to do your products, brands, and display all at once, or you can just do one active sheet at a time. All right, so you can see it's returned a few rows here as well where we don't have any orders, and we've got either our spend or it looks like our click-through rate impression thresholds are getting triggered. So similarly, you can pause these rows if you want. And that's just a way to kind of reduce wasted ad spend before your spend gets too high and things get out of whack on. Usually these are for newly launched campaigns that you're hopefully paying attention to on the bid override table. But if you're not, it's a way to kind of just do a quick check to make sure you're not missing anything. All right, and then the other really big way to reduce wasted ad spend with AdTactix is to bulk negate. And you're usually going to bulk negate research campaign search terms that just aren't performing well. All right, so from your search term report, you can see I'm down there on the bottom tab. I'm just going to hit spend and I'm going to hit run Stoptimizer. And what this is going to do, it's going to take the same criteria we were just looking at with our poor performers filter, and it's going to use it at the search term slice of our search term report and bounce that same criteria off there. So you can see we've got no sales on these. There's either high spend, high clicks, or high impressions with low click-through rate. And what we can do now is look at just typically our research campaigns because our exacts are going to be handled with our poor performers filter. But say like these here, we want to bulk negate these words here. All we're going to do is check those boxes. We're going to hit add selected to bulk negate tool. Those added it now to the bulk negate tool. Just like we did with sponsored products, we could hop over and do that to our sponsored brand sheet, but I'm just going to create negative exact negations in this case. So I'm just going to drag that down. And just like we've done on our other bulk files, we're going to create the negative upload file first. Then we're going to save it to our Google Drive, and then we're going to upload it back to Amazon. So pretty easy. I'm going to hit yes. And there is our negative upload file that we can now save. And to save it, it's as easy as click and export to Google Drive. You've got a special folder structure that gets created with all the FBAExcel tools, so everything kind of stays consistent and organized, but all that's covered in the SOPs. But yeah, guys, that's AdTactix. It's badass, to be honest with you. It really feels like you're in the cockpit of an airplane and really able to push the right buttons and see all the data you need to make informed decisions from your Amazon PPC. So hope you like it. Hope you check it out. If there is a trial on this page, I suggest you just go down and click it right now and just give it a spin for a few days, see how you like it. I don't think you'll regret it. I will see you. Cheers.